Thank you for joining us today on Equal Hope on CAN TV. I'm your host, Dana Wint. I'm so happy you could join us. There's a lot of things you could be doing, but right now you are going to be informed. Information is key. Equal Hope is a nonprofit organization right here in Chicago, willing to support you 24/7. How? With a free mammogram, a free cervical screening, or a primary care appointment if that's what you need. And guess what? All of this wonderfulness is free. Free, my favorite four-letter word. Don't deny, verify. We've made it really easy. Ladies, if you know you need a mammogram and you're underinsured or uninsured or maybe just unsure, we have a navigation team that is willing to help you, that can walk you through from beginning to end if necessary or answer any of your questions. So give them a call. Write the number down, 312-942-3368. Or you can visit equalhope.org. We have a Latina navigation crew, so we are ready for our Latina sisters. Again, early detection saves lives. We have a really special guest with us today, a good friend of mine, and she had time today to come by and share some information. I want to introduce this month's guest, Karen Hall. She's a two-time breast cancer survivor and the founder and CEO of the Cancer Support Team of Illinois. Wherever you are, stand to your feet, put your hands together and say, hey, Karen! Hey, Karen!
Thank you so much, Dana. It's really a privilege and an honor. I am so excited to be here today.
You know what? And we're going to get straight to it because this time goes by so fast, and I'm sure you have something that somebody needs to hear. So we're going to get started. Karen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a two-time breast cancer survivor, a mother of one child. I work with the YAS group at UIC for the Breast Cancer Learning Collaborative. That's a 14-week training session to assist community leaders with helping our sisters and brothers in the community navigate their cancer diagnosis. I am a licensed UFBL teacher at the Christ Universal Temple. I just kind of do what I can do. I'm a volunteer still with the Gilda's Club and American Cancer Society. That's where I really actually started my community outreach.
And I imagine that was born from your own walk. But tell us, as the founder and CEO of the Cancer Support Team of Illinois, what inspired you to start that organization?
Well, it started several ways. With my first diagnosis, I did very well. I just had a I had a mastectomy, reconstruction surgery, took the tamoxifen for 5 years. But after that time, I started getting calls from women. I have a sister, I have a friend, I have a coworker. Can you talk to him? You did very well with your cancer struggle. And so it just encouraged me. It just really gave me a lot of hope and compassion that I can say something to assist someone else. So that was the first inclination. And then when my cancer came back, the second time, I noticed such a disparity and lack of resources and education and support in our communities. And, just to quickly, we talk about something as simple as a wig, right? So I go to American Cancer Society to get a wig. Well, they don't have any for African Americans, right? And you say, it's just a wig, what about the person living? Well, part of the person's drive to live is their self-esteem and how they feel. And so a wig is really very important to keep them motivated to living. So that's really where it all started from, Dana.
So you find resources that are specific for African American women?
I find resources that's for anybody. I do target underserved communities for our Black and Brown communities because they are the ones that are mostly impacted with the lack of services and resources that are available. But any nationality that is looking for a wig, they can actually just visit my website, find the wig, and I will send it to them free of charge.
And so, what other types of resources can we find at the Illinois Cancer Resource Center?
So for me, I have the Crowning Star Wig Program. Free wigs for cancer patients, survivors, and women living with alopecia. That's very, very significant for me. I know as we journey through our cancer, sometimes our hair does not come back. And then there's other women that are just diagnosed with alopecia, which we have the wigs that are available. I host support group meetings for the first Wednesday of every month. I host for our survivors. And we provide tools and techniques to assist them in their journey of living. I don't call it journey of dying. I don't call it cancer diagnosis. I say journey in living because you have to decide every day to live. I also have a Care Bear program where we give comfort items to our cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. We have a caregiver support group meeting that meets quarterly because I feel as a caregiver of my mom, I know how important it is. You walk through that journey with the cancer patient. You have all of the same anxieties and anguish as the cancer patient, but feel I don't really have the voice, or I shouldn't be complaining because I'm not the one that has been diagnosed. And so it's critically important that they also have the support so that they can assist. You can't give from an empty cup. So if you're empty, you're giving a whole lot of emptiness. And the last thing is on my website, I have a comprehensive resource list that gives a lot of cancer services, garments, and we're also impacted with things other than just cancer. Life just don't stop lifing once we are diagnosed, right? So we have all kind of other things that we need resources, such as transportation, legal services, insurance services. So our website does have a comprehensive list that can assist our cancer patients with the other services that's needed.
Well, all services are...
All services are free. Everything is free.
My favorite word.
Yes, my favorite word as well.
Like it so much. So, thank you and congratulations, Karen, for your ministry.
Yes, thank you.
So let's back it up.
Okay.
Let's back it up because you're a two-time survivor.
I'm a two-time survivor.
Take us back to the first diagnosis and how you detected the cancer.
So the first diagnosis, I was working in a very deadline-driven environment. I was stressed out and went to my primary care physician, and he put me on FMLA because I did not have time to take off to do my regular exams. And so once I went on FMLA, he was like, all right, now it's time for you to go and get your mammogram. Okay, So I go get my mammogram. And, when you are consumed with so many things that's going on with you, you just kind of really go through the steps. So I really wasn't paying any attention. I was going through the steps. So they say, okay, you had your annual, but we want to do a diagnostic. Okay, okay, we did the diagnostic. Now we want to do a biopsy. Okay, and like I said, I'm knowing what they're doing and agreeing what they're doing, but I am so consumed at that job, right? What that job is doing for me.
But just, I'll be there.
I'm just going through it.
Sure, I'll be at the appointment.
Right, I'm just going through it. And then I got the call from the surgeon that says, you have an appointment. Okay. I told my son, well, I think I might want you to go with me. He said, okay, Mom, no problem. So I go in there and, she said a whole lot of words before and a whole lot of words after you have breast cancer, right? And so the words before I don't remember. The words after sounded like garble. I think I went into a panic mode. I went into denial. I went into, You know, my level of understanding of cancer was you die, and that was it. So I had no other reference, right? No one in my family had cancer, so I didn't see the progression of how it happens. And so when she said, you have cancer, I'm like, this chick is in the wrong room. She got the wrong patient. It is the wrong day, right? And she said,
Wrong day.
right? She was like, hey, do you understand? And I was like, of course. So intellectually, I understood everything what she was saying, but it wasn't emotionally attached to me yet, because now I'm fear. I'm going to die. What's going to happen to my son? What's going to happen to my mom? You know, and so all of that consumed me. So everything she said afterwards, I did hear, right, intellectually, and I understood, and I was able to say back what she had said to me.
Regurgitate.
Right, I regurgitated what she said, but it was like, okay.
Well, your son was there for
My son was there, and so when I came out the room, I told him, and he said, so what are you going to do? And so, you know, I did like we all do. You go home, you do the ugly cry, you get on the floor, you start saying, why me? You know, God, I've been doing everything right, you know, so your faith is shattered. Everything is pretty much so shattered. And then you really got to make a decision. What you going to do? You got served this, what are you going to do? You just going to take the bitterness, or you just going to make you some sweet lemonade? And so I decided I'm going to make some sweet lemonade. And so I started at that point being my own advocate.
So, being your own advocate, why did you feel like you needed to be your own advocate?
I've always been a fighter.
So,
you know.
So did you feel like you weren't being heard or seen?
I don't feel that I was being heard. I don't feel that, you know, we are, as African Americans, is put into this bubble. Because you're African American, you have limited education or limited understanding of things like that. And so they were talking to me instead of at me. You know, they was talking at me. And so that's when I decided, you know what? You have one life. They got 1,000 patients, but you got one life, so what are you going to do? And so that's when I started being my own advocate. I started researching, and I started asking questions. I started taking notes before I go see my oncologist and all of the other doctors, and asking them. The one thing I did not ask them was, what long-term effect would this have? And that was one thing I wish I would have mentioned.
However, I do believe that part of the conversation is not really discussed for a reason.
Okay.
Because if you told somebody all the potential, you know, just lined it up, it would be very discouraging.
True.
And, you know, some people start missing chemo appointments or opt out or, I'll skip that.
Right.
You know, so.
Right. Which is true.
So you scare them half to death. But you have cancer. But to throw in, and guess what?
Right.
Your teeth are going to.
Right.
Don't your hair, you knew about that.
Yeah.
But your mouth is going to turn black, your fingernails, you know.
Right. Yeah, which is true. So the first time it was easy. I would say it was easy. I had mastectomy, reconstruction, you know, everything. Life was good. Took the tamoxifen for 5 years. Did the whole 5K walk. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Right? And another thing they didn't tell me that, you know, it's a possibility it couldn't come back, you know. I was like, I'm stage 0. I'm done with this, right? But then 3 years after my 5-year anniversary, it came back. And it's called a local recurrence because it came back in the same general area as my original mastectomy, which means on the same side as I had my mastectomy, but on the chest wall. And I think that's why it's important when we say do your self-exam, make sure you check your chest wall because your breast tissue goes all the way up there.
So you said the second time, you are indicating that the second time was not as easy.
Oh, second time was worse. The second time I had to go to my spiritual counselor. I was like, "Hey, tell me something good." Okay, you better tell me something good right now because I was shocked. Why did it come back? It came back as an aggressive tumor. And so, therefore, which resulted in my treatment plan being totally different, where I had to get chemo, radiation, surgery, Herceptin for a year, and then take the exemestane for 10 years, which is horrible, right? And the second time, I have a lot of, which I'm still dealing with now, a lot of long-term side effects. My eyebrows did not return. The chemo damaged the ducts in my eyes, so I have dry eyes. I have totally lost my sense of smell. You got the typical aches and pains, the arthritis and things like that. So those are the things that bother you, right? That you just pretty much so has to just get used to it. It's
the new normal.
Yeah, the new normal. I have decided that I wanted to live. And so with that decision, you have to do whatever you need to do in order to live.
So, how did your experience shape the way that you work and what you're doing now?
I think because I have the passion. See, the first time I tried to go to a support group, right? And I went in there, I'm like, oh, Lord, I ain't one of these women, right? Because they have lost their hair and things like that. I didn't go through that. I just had the mastectomy. But then the second time, I became one of those women.
You didn't have chemo the first time?
No. I just had mastectomy, reconstruction, and took the tamoxifen for 5 years. But I did have an infection, so I had to have corrective surgery because I had an infection in the breast cavity. But yeah, the second time, it was the whole shebang. So it gave me the compassion and the understanding, not just the physical changes that the person, but the emotional, right? That emotional and spiritual changes that a person, they need that support. Because, because your doctor just wants, they feel if I give you the right medication, you're going to live, and that's all we're dealing with. And they don't understand that the emotional support that the person needs is just as important as that medical support.
Did you do therapy?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm still in therapy. Let's just say that.
We all need therapy.
Right, we all need therapy.
That's the message today.
Right, that's the girlfriend that don't tell don't tell the whole neighborhood. So about what you're going through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how you doing now?
I'm doing good. Outside of my lifetime, and I just call them now my lifetime side effects. I'm doing great. I'm in good spirits. I'm not depressed. I got my little girlfriend, my therapist, that I talk to on a regular basis. And, I'm really, really involved with my organization. And so I'm doing great.
Looking back, Karen, what would you say? You are doing great. And that's clear. Every time I see you, you're doing great. But what would have been the most challenging part? Can you identify, looking back?
One of the most challenging was the fact that my oncology team did not give me, outside of the medical resources, I didn't get any other type of resources. I had to go outside of where I was getting treated, such as the wigs, such as when I lost my primary insurance. When I lost my insurance while I was in treatment, my medical team didn't say nothing to me. It was another patient who says, hey, this is how you get a medical card. And so a lot of the resources did not come from the medical team. It came from other patients. And so that's when I learned to be your own advocate. You just talk to everybody. You never know what type of information you're going to get.
So you saw very clear disparity.
Yes. Yes.
Examples in your treatment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing I think was critical was, I didn't understand about FMLA and, ADA. If you wanted to go back to work, how does that work? Can I get on ADA? Can I have ADA accommodations to go back to work? Those sorts of things were not given or told to me. I didn't know anything about clinical trials. I didn't know a lot about the medication that I was taking. So, it was a lot of things.
Now, what would you have done different relative to clinical trials?
For me personally, clinical trials, I'm a component of clinical trials because of the triple negative breast cancer that's running rapid in our area.
Are you considered triple negative?
No, I am not considered triple negative. But I think we need to be in the room when the studies are happening, because when the treatment plans are designed, if African Americans are not in the room and not participating, the plan does not work for us.
Yeah. Clinical trials is certainly an area that is not robust for African Americans.
Right.
But something about that word trials is probably what.
Yes.
throws you off.
Yes.
So you've been honored. The University of Illinois Cancer Center's Hope Leadership Award, and big congratulations for that. It's always great that somebody acknowledges the great work that you do, because at the end of the day, you're saving lives.
Yes.
You sleep good at night because you help somebody for real. It's good work. Tell us about that award.
So the award is, I am considered the bridge between the community and the researchers. And so part of my job is to do community events and bringing both the community and the researchers together. I'm a big component of, you have to talk to them as people and not on the PhD level. And so another part of my position is I go visit the researchers in their own environment, attend some of their meetings, and get to try to understand what they're doing and just let them know you're going to have to bring it down a little bit because I'm not understanding what you're saying. And so that's when I say that my job is really the bridge between the community and the researchers.
Yeah, right. That's true. You talking in
right
terminology that. So how do you feel like local communities could do better in supporting survivors after treatment ends? Local communities.
I think we just need to continue to reach out. Have the workshops that we have and webinars, and invite them, right? I think one of the goals I would love to do is, develop a team where we can just keep in touch. Right? So maybe every quarter, just go through your list of contacts and say, hi, I was just thinking about you. Do you need anything? Because people feel that they're forgotten, right? Because I felt that way. Once I was finished with my treatment, I felt like I was sitting on a mountain, right? Ready to drop off. It's like, what do you mean y'all done? And so, people want to know that you care, and that's part of caring is keeping in touch with them on a regular basis.
Where the Cancer Support Team of Illinois steps in. Before we wrap up, any upcoming events, initiatives, or ways for people to get involved with the Support Team of Illinois?
Yeah, quickly. So October 4th, we're having our 6th annual Pink Ribbon fundraiser at Siberian Social Center in Lansing, Illinois. Come on out. The tickets are $80 up until September the 1. We have door prizes, we have open bar, we have sit-down dinner. It's going to be wonderful. Great event. I love it, and now I have a team to help me with. But if you need support in any kind of way, please contact us at 708-580-6456.
Say it again.
708-580-6456. You can visit our website at www.csttransform.org. That's csttransform.org. You can also donate to us because all of our services are free and we are not funded by any large organization. And so a lot of the funds do come out of my pocket, but it doesn't matter because I am passionate about the services that I can perform for people. So thank you.
Oh, so you got the information. Give them the number one more time.
708-580-6456.
It's the Cancer Support Team of Illinois.
CST for short.
CST for short. Well, I just want to thank you, Karen Hall, for stopping by and making some time for us.
Yes.
I hope you have been encouraged or maybe just have an inkling that, take care of yourself. Karen didn't miss the cues, and so she's sitting here today. And she didn't miss the cues twice.
Right.
So she's sitting here today. And my, humble request is to pay attention. And if you know you need some support, if you know you haven't been to get your mammogram in the last year because of whatever reason, Equal Hope is right here to support you. 312-942-3368. Or you can visit equalhope.org. We have a Latina navigation team ready to support you if you speak Spanish, so we've eliminated the barriers and the excuses. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you follow us on social media at equalhope_IL. And our next show is September 23rd from 5 to 5:25. We're right here on CAN TV. Thank you so much for joining us. And may the rest of this evening be the best of this evening. Thanks.